Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We have finally hit the pinnacle towards the end of the year regarding Dragon Age the Veilguard. And even though Dragon Age the Veilguard got snubbed at the Game Awards, which, by the way, I will fully admit that I was wrong about. I thought that that game would sweep at the Game Awards, but apparently the journalists didn't like it either, not to the level we'd have actually rewarding them. But at the end of the day, they got to get some sort of a win. This is still an ideologically driven game, and the message must be sent out there. Well, Time Magazine has now named Dragon Age the Veilguard as the best game of 2024.
Yes! Hell yeah!
Now, I got to be honest with you guys, I'm not really that shocked by this, right? I'm sure not a lot of you guys are shocked by this either. Time Magazine naming this game Best Game of 2024 is something that we all should have saw coming a mile away, and I'm surprised that other journalist outlets have not also named this game the Best Game of 2024. I find it very odd and ironic that this game got snubbed at the Game Awards only for it to be named by Time Magazine, of all magazines, to be 2024 Game of the Year. So let's get into this article, guys, from Phantom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says the mainstream media continues to expose their bias for games they push a progressive and pro-LGBTQ agenda by calling Dragon Age the Veilguard the best game of 2024. Time Magazine has done the unthinkable in gaming and named Dragon Age the best game of 20. I don't really think it's the unthinkable. To be honest with you, I really don't. I don't think it's the unthinkable. I think it's the very much thinkable, because I feel like if there's any game that's going to be named by a activist journalist website Game of the Year for 2024, it's going to be Dragon Age the Veilguard. It's the same exact reason why I thought this game would get so many awards at the Game Awards. Same exact reason. So I'm shocked to see that the Game Awards didn't give it to them, yet all the magazines are still shilling for them till this day. There are people out there on Twitter who are journalists for these magazines still talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard and trying to make it sound like it's the #1 game of the year. And then some of them are walking back their reviews afterwards because, you know, the truth comes out at some point. In the 2024 Game Awards have come and gone, but the backlash stemming from several controversial snubs is far from over. The wildly popular Black Myth Wukong won the Player's Voice Award, despite losing out on Game of the Year to Sony-exclusive Astro Bot. Stellar Blade, another massive Sony exclusive, was left off of several categories entirely, and it was eventually defeated by Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the Best Score in Music category. As such, it has become exceedingly clear to the majority of gamers that the gap between actual gamers and those in games media has never been wider. I gotta be real with you, we really didn't even need the awards to really tell us this, right? I feel like I didn't need the Game Award to tell me that. I don't think you guys needed the Game Award to tell me that. I think it's pretty obvious that these people don't want to do anything that the gamers actually want. They don't really want to listen to what the gamers actually want. They rather just say that we're wrong and we are chuds and we are this, that, whatever. They don't want to actually listen to us, and they don't want to actually have a conversation with us. And at this point, I feel like we're probably there as well in terms of having a conversation with them. But anyway, in a move that seemed like an obvious attempt to incite outrage, Time released their 10 best video games of 2024 list 1 week ahead of the Game Awards, with several extremely questionable selections making it onto the list. The most notable titles that were left off were Space Marine 2 and Stellar Blade, 2 games that were both financially successful and very well received by audiences. Here's the entire list. Okay, so we got Dragon Age the Veilguard. Again, how the hell is Dragon Age the Veilguard beating out these games is beyond me. We got Dragon Age the Veilguard, Astro Bot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Silent Hill 2, Neva, Alan Wake 2 Night Springs in a Lake House, Black Myth Wukong, Star Wars Outlaws, Lego Horizon Adventures, and Helldivers 2. I'm honestly surprised at this point to even see Black Myth Wukong on this list, because the fact that they put Dragon Age Veilguard on the top of all these games, how is that even remotely possible? You gotta be kidding me, bro. I want to know how much BioWare paid Time Magazine for this. I gotta imagine it must have been a pretty decent sum for them to be named #1 of the entire year. It is almost impossible to discern what Time was thinking when making these selections. There were 2 Alan Wake DLCs that shared the #6 spot, yet no inclusion of Shadow of the Erdtree, the DLC for 2022 Game of the Year winner, Elden Ring. Alan Wake 2 is a title famously connected to DEI consulting firm Sweet Baby Inc., and as of right now, has yet to make a profit to this day. By comparison, Elden Ring is one of the most successful and heavily awarded games of all time. Star Wars Outlaws making the list at number 8 is even more laughable, given that this title has yet to sell 2 million copies and has been an absolute public relations nightmare for Ubisoft. Furthermore, dropping Helldivers 2 all the way down to number 10 behind LEGO Horizon Adventures, a game that had an all-time peak of Steam of 602 players, is a blatant display of disrespect for the developers and the player base. I mean, again, what the fuck? Like, this doesn't even make any sense, man. And okay, Silent Hill 2 definitely deserves to be up here for the most part. I wouldn't put it this high. I mean, this is like Shillery level high. I would probably put it somewhere down here. But my God, you got LEGO Horizon Adventures beating out Helldivers 2. You got Star Wars Outlaws beating out Helldivers 2 and only barely losing to Black Myth Wukong. I mean, it is night and day. It is night and day between the two. I don't even understand. Most egregious of, however, is their placement of Dragon Age: The Veilguard at number 1. This title from BioWare, the latest entry in the Dragon Age franchise after a 10-year hiatus, has been mocked and ridiculed by players far and wide for its heavy-handed use of such things as pronouns, non-binary characters, top surgery scars, and incredibly amateur storytelling. Dragon Age: The Veilguard failed so miserably at appealing to mass audiences that even the Game Awards only gave it 1 nomination in the accessibility category, likely due to their contracting of known accessibility consultant and trans representation enthusiast Laura Kate Dale, which is basically Kevin. I mean, what the hell is this? I don't even know what this creature is. But yeah, the fact that they got snubbed, even in the accessibility category, I cannot believe that they have lost completely. I really can't. I was genuinely shocked when I saw the nominations over at the Game Awards and noticed that Dragon Age: The Veilguard was almost nowhere to be found. That was genuinely shocking to me. And I'm sure it was shocking to a lot of you guys too. And it's one of those things where, again, I'll admit I was wrong. I fully did not think that that was going to happen, and it did. And for whatever reason they decided to do that, that's on them. Maybe for public perception. Who really knows? Perhaps they probably thought that Dragon Age: The Veilguard would have been the too obvious of a winner, right? So they'd rather give it to Astrobot and take that Sony money. But still, it's insane. Regarding Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Richard Newby wrote for the Times, "First, hats off to what has been the most advanced character creation system ever brought to video games." Lie. Complete and utter lie, bro. Asian games would like to have a word with you. Are you kidding me right now? There's people who play Black Desert just for the character creator. You mean to tell me this is the most advanced character creation system ever? You can't even make a woman pass an A cup. You can't even give her a big badonkadonk. You can't give her none of it. All she could be is a chick with a dick. That's all she could be. So what do you mean this is the most advanced of all time? You got to be absolutely kidding me. You are lying through your teeth. There is nothing that makes this the most advanced one ever created. I cannot believe they even bothered using those words. Wow. Just to like, you are so blatantly shilling. That's insane. The character creator is also fully inclusive, not only in terms of race, but also gender, and its inclusion of non-binary pronouns and flexibility with physical characteristics like hairstyles. Before the game even begins, there's an effort to make the Veilguard feel personal and truly put the gamer behind the character. Sadly, this is nothing new, and as we've seen many new access media outlets praise this game for pushing a far-left LGBT agenda. Inverse recently put out an article calling Dragon Age's transgender game director Corin Bush the ruler of RPGs, conqueror of haters. Corin admitted in this interview that his purpose wasn't to faithfully follow the established franchise and give longtime fans what they wanted, but rather to use it as a tool to force his own personal beliefs into the series by reinventing it. And ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about Corin Bush, right, you got to look at the history of Bush, right? Bush has a history in EA and was one of the first people to introduce trans scars to The Sims, right? So after working on The Sims, he decided to go work on BioWare. And then in BioWare, obviously bringing the trans ideology over into Dragon Age: The Veilguard by introducing trans scars and all the other nonsense with Tosh and the storyline for your own character and whatnot. So it's very clear that there was an agenda from the beginning, and they have decided to see it through all the way to the end. But naming Dragon Age: The Veilguard 2024 Game of the Year, yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that Time Magazine got a nice fat check from BioWare. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.